So it being 7 o'clock on October 7th, I'd like to open up the bi-monthly Charlton Planning Board meeting. First item on the agenda is a public hearing for the town of Charlton Fire Substation Site Plan. Do we have an engineer here, or do we just open this up and?
They said there was gonna be two people on.
On Zoom, anybody,
remotely,
okay,
but they are not here.
okay. Interesting, okay, so have we opened this public hearing?
Yes,
Okay, so it's already open, I don't need to read this,
No, it is not open.
it's not, we didn't open
it's
it,
not open.
No, you did not open it.
okay.
Oh,
We,
they use, yes, okay.
okay, so, do we wanna open it now, or do we wanna wait until? We get the proper in, cause there's, I guess there's,
I was expecting them to be here.
we could do minutes. While we're waiting,
Yeah, I actually have another item to discuss. It's
Okay.
not on the agenda.
anybody have an objection to doing minutes, but while we're waiting? A little bit more time.
Yeah.
So we're down to the agenda item, minutes from August 11th. Yep, sorry, that's not it. We have.
Don't go to sleep.
Those are the wrong minutes. Do we have minutes to review?
No. they're-
Okay. Other business unknown at time of posting?
Yes, GP Development, Tom Corbett, he came in today. They had gotten, approved for two separate, properties for, battery energy storage on Griffin Road. For the financer, it was under one application. Their financer wants it done as two separate applications. So the question is, how do we, I was trying to come up with a way that, how we could handle that without putting them in, going through the whole process all over again, so. I think the simplest solution, and they're aware that they might have to spend some money to do this, because it is what it is. Because they're both special permits, is that we amend the application and take one of the lots off the application. And then they just file an application for the second lot. And because it's already been reviewed, nothing's changed.
As long as nothing
except for it's
changed,
gotta be
yeah.
under a different application number.
Yep.
So they would file a new application for the second lot so that they are approved separately. I don't know any legally
I have,
simpler way of doing that.
I have no problem doing that.
So rescind, like, they have to formally rescind their original
It's altered.
and re.
They would
You say reapply with
amend
two
the
new-
original application to
and-
remove one of the lots. So you can have a lot A, a lot B.
Amend it.
Right,
And
and
apply,
so,
and then
yeah,
add a new one.
yeah, and then just
So it-
list the second one as a completely different application with a new number.
It might be just something we need to run through town council just to make sure it's.
Yeah, he understands he'll have to do what he has to do, but since. Most importantly, it's a special permit. So they probably have to have the public hearing. Separate decisions gonna have to be written and, filed with the clerk for the 20 days and everything.
Yeah.
But, overall, it's not necessarily a big deal, but. We still gotta follow the rules, so.
We go through the public hearing, we open it, we close it, we vote, we can get it done pretty quick,
Yeah.
as long as nothing else changed.
Yeah, it doesn't change any of the site plan features.
No, nothing's changing, it just has to be a different application.
And these are abutting properties on Griffin Road.
Yes,
And they came in as two separate properties.
yeah, they're two separate properties of land, but one application with both properties on it.
there a change in ownership of the properties?
No, it's just what it is just like they build one at one point.
Yeah.
And then decide to build the second one later. You know. They want, their financing company wants to,
Or sell
Only
them off
worry
separately?
right. If they don't build them both at the same time or something, so.
But they're deeded separately and there's
Yes.
no commingling of anything on the
Right.
application.
And they'll have to get, I spoke to Kurt Message, the building commissioner, and they'll have to get separate permits for. Because he doesn't buy the property or buy the unit if it's a, yeah, multifamily housing, so to have it listed, you know. It's gonna be done separately from a permitting standpoint and everything, so
Yeah,
it's. But nothing's changing as far as. What they're planning to do on the site and everything, so.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Hi, good evening. This is Mina from Context. This is not, this is about the Charlton Fire Station?
Not yet,
property? Oh, no, it's a different property?
Yep, that's coming up,
Okay, I came in the middle of the conversation and I just didn't want to interrupt it.
We're just getting ready to open that public hearing.
All right,
See, they're here.
They're here, okay. Okay, yeah, I don't have a problem with that, so we can figure out how to do it legally, and
Right,
it is what it is. Okay.
when are they gonna do that? They just gave you a verbal indication and they're starting to work on the different.
yeah, I discussed it with him, he just wants some direction of what he has to do, so.
Right.
Once we tell him, okay, this is what we want you to do, that's what he'll do.
It's a month away or.
Yeah.
Okay, it being up to 7 o'clock, public hearing for the town of Charlton Fire Substation Site Plan Application on 4 Oxford Road. In accordance with section 200-3.2, 200-7.1D, and 200-7.2 of the Charlton Planning Zoning Bylaw, the Charlton Planning Board will hold a remote public hearing on Wednesday, September 4th, 2024 at 7:10 PM via Zoom meeting ID number 211-293-2257 and in person at 37 Main Street, Charlton, Mass. 01507 on the request of the town of Charlton, 37 Main Street, Charlton, Mass. 01507 for the site plan application for a new 13,150 square firehouse substation. The property contains approximately 1.49 acres. Property is located at 4 Oxford Road. The property ID is Assessors Map 53, Block C, Lot 1.9, and is zoned agricultural rural residential AR-60. This meeting of the Charlton Planning Board will be conducted in person and via remote participation. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with the right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Charlton website at www.townofcharlton.net. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner. Video participation through Zoom, meeting ID 211-293-2257, phone access 1-646-558-8656. Copies of the site plan application are available for inspection at the planning board office and the town clerk office during regular business hours. Application is also posted on the town website under planning board. Any persons interested or wishing to be heard should appear at that time and place designated. Okay, so we have on Zoom, could you just introduce yourself and explain what we're looking at here?
well, this is Mina from Context Architecture. We're doing all the architecture work, managing the project for the owner, not the OPM, but managing the architecture engineering side.
And I'm Chris Adney. I'm the civil engineer on the project, working with Mina as well.
Yeah, this is the project is a fire station, fire substation for the town of Charlton, and we're here today to go through the peer review for the planning board submittal and discuss any comments if there is um open items still under review. Just so if we can decide if gonna come out back for another hearing or we can continue with the application.
Okay, do you wanna quickly go over what the plan is to build and a little bit more about the project? There may be some people here that aren't quite familiar with what's going on or where it's going with the different boards that you've been dealing with. Yeah, do you have anything you could?
I can pull up drawings if that's possible, yes, and walk you, me or Chris can walk you through the site.
Briefly, site and elevations is fine, just a couple of minutes, just a quick overview.
Sure. Just a second. Chris, you want to go first?
Sure, I can walk you through the site. So the project site is located, it's on Oxford Road. It's basically where Oxford Road, Bucket Hill Road, converge at the entrance to the school, driveway as well. This is actually on the school parcel. It's being separated, or I think has been separated off into its own parcel. So it's now 4 Oxford Road is the address for this. So it's a new fire station, located in what is today just kind of an open field. The site generally slopes from the top of the page down towards the bottom. There's a wetland on the bottom left-hand corner. We are on the Conservation Commission agenda for next week, I believe. So the building itself is, you can see that kind of L-shaped structure in the center of the plan. There will be, yep, where the cursor is. So this will be the new fire substation. So on the left side of that, and Mina, you can speak to the architecture, is the occupied portion of that, the human occupied portion of that. The right side of the building, the kind of fatter portion, is where the garage bays will be for the trucks to park. So we're proposing a new driveway, which will enter the site from Oxford Road. That's shaded in gray on this plan. The trucks themselves will actually go down the driveway, down Heritage Drive, take a left, and then they'll actually pass through the building. So there'll be garage doors in the back, garage doors in the front, trucks will pass through. There are 2 parking lots which are proposed here. So there's an upper lot, which is on the top left of the page here, with 6 parking spaces and an accessible space. And then there is a lot in the back, which is going to be more for the actual people who work there, who are going to park down in the back down there. There will also be trash and, just back of house, general back there. You want to go to the next sheet, Mina?
Sure.
So utility wise, we've got some new utility connections. There will be a new sewer connection out to the sewer main in Oxford Road and the intersection. We'll have to pump that because the site is sloping down, so we're actually below the sewer main itself. We're doing a bunch of stormwater infrastructure improvements, which will meet the town requirements to basically mitigate the stormwater runoff, which is going to run off the site and into that wetland. And additionally, we're making new water connection. There's a water main that's in Heritage Drive, which serves the school right now. We're going to make a new connection to that. Fire protection for the site is going to be provided by that big oval up there, which is a tank, which will be filled up, and that'll provide fire protection for the building. And then, Mina, could you jump to the next one real quick?
Sure.
Which I believe is our grading plan. Oh, sorry, maybe go back to. And then just to speak to the grades a little bit, because it is a hilly site. Oops. So there will be some walls located on site. Yep. So there's a slope which will slope down on the right side towards the driveway, and then we'll have some walls in the back which are going to make up that the edge of the driveway there. And that is what is going to help us flatten out the actual parcel itself.
We're
That's-
minimizing the wall height in the front of the property, so those, the wall, the retaining wall on this side or on this side, they maximum, I think, at 1 feet or 1+ feet.
Yep.
The retaining wall in the back is slightly higher than that, and go up to 5 feet or 6 feet in the back.
Yeah, and in front of the building, the idea was to try to minimize, any super tall walls which are going to be visible from the street. I think from a site perspective, that is a brief overview, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you got. And Mina, if you want to walk through any of the architectural aspects.
This is just a quick view from Heritage Drive. I'm gonna jump to the floor plan. This is the first floor plan. The apparatus is 4-bay drive-through garage structure entering from the rear of the property, driving from Heritage Drive back to Oxford Road. Exit from the front this way. The lower portion of the floor plan is the support room for the apparatus plus administration offices, and a small training room that meant to be used for either small public gathering or the fire department training specifically. The fire pump room located in this corner here, so it's directly the closer area to the 40,000 gallon tank in the front apron. And on the second floor, there is the living quarter, which has the dorms room, had the kitchen and day room, and some of the services area like electrical room, server room, and small fitness area as well. Elevation. This is the elevation from Heritage Drive, and actually has the main entrance on that side. You can see from the elevation here that there's an accessible ramp or accessible route to the front parking. So that's why the accessible spot is actually located here because the back lot is about 3 feet lower than the entrance, and the ramp, to do a ramp on this side will be a lot more longer than just using the Porsche and the existing ramp on this side to the first parking. So that's why we located the accessible parking in the front. This is the east side elevation, which is facing the abutter house on the east. We're providing a wood fence starting from the corner of the building all the way to the back of the rear parking. We didn't provide a fence any point prior to that, to the corner of the building, based on the abutter request, not to block their view from their house or their side yard. This is the front and back elevation. They're very similar with the apparatus door. We're using a full glazed apparatus door in the front, and a more economical doors in the back with just a vision panel, 2 vision panels. This door here is the egress exit from the staircase, and it exit directly to the front parking area. And from the back, there's no exit other from the apparatus doors. Yeah. Do you have any questions, or do you would like to see something else other than that?
On the, yeah, thank you, Mina and Chris. Good job on the overview. On one of the site plans, that first page of the site plan, can we just look at that again, the intersection? So what is the, looks like on the front edge of the driveway is a shaded 45-degree, what is that?
That's our trench cut, which is gonna be to make that sewer connection out into to that manhole in the street.
into the sewer connection. The sewer continues down the driveway and picks up, goes all the way to the school, right?
So the sewer doesn't, or the sewer might continue in the road, along Oxford Road for that. I actually, it stops on our survey about where it says meet and match existing grades, right about where it says Oxford Road.
Yeah.
In the driveway, all that we are aware of is that there's a water main.
So the schools are on a septic system, not the sewer. I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but we at one point we checked with on that, and there was no sewer line. We confirmed that with the town.
I'm pretty sure, I'm wondering about this, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, because when they put the schools in.
Yeah.
They put a sewer line
They
in.
did,
And
yeah,
I think when they surveyed it, I think they drew lines, it said storage
yeah,
on Heritage Driveway.
it's going up the drive.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, yeah. That would.
On the Heritage driveway or the CMS driveway?
Heritage, which is the one to the right,
Yep.
across from Morton States.
All right.
Yep.
So yeah, we're talking about the other Heritage Drive, which is this one. It wraps all the way around the school and it exit from the
That
east, like the east corner of that map.
Right,
Yes.
right. Good, right. And then
I would love for it to be in there because it would make our life easier. We have to put a pump in to pump it out. But I think, I think well, at least I'm only aware of it being out in the intersection here. And if you have other information, I would love to get it so we could redesign that piece of it.
It should be with water and sewer.
Yeah, yeah.
What else?
Right, right.
I have a question if I may. Is there gonna be a pump station visible somewhere on the location? Or is it gonna be a below surface, sub-level pumping station to that or visibility somewhere?
Did you hear that question?
Yep, Mina, could you go to the next sheet? So it's gonna be in a below grade one, the structure itself, if you zoom in. So we'll have a pump in the building and then, or sorry, let me. Yeah, so we'll have the sewer service itself is gonna exit the building, along where it says S, right there, and then it's gonna go to that manhole, which is right about where his cursor is. That's got a pump, like the grinder pump in it, which will pump out, but it's all gonna be below grade.
Randy, do we have site plans for this or these architectural plans? Or
I think in our package, all we have is the
We don't have
architectural.
any, we don't have
no
site plans.
site plan?
Yeah, I know, they have an older one. They have, and I have a couple of.
I was just concerned with the site, the visibility in and out of that driveway with the retaining walls, and if we have any views of the car level height, both ways and from the road in and out.
Yeah, so we actually, that was one of the peer review comments was about site distance, entering and exiting the driveway. So we are in the process of doing a study on that, field study. So we finished the field work today. We're crunching the numbers. So I don't have a 100% answer for that right now, but we will very shortly that we can share with you.
And that site study included traffic counts?
Yep, ATR counts, and then so to determine the average speed for the road, and then looking at the site distances based on that.
They have all kinds of plans, if the plan rules on seeing the building of the site, but they haven't submitted hardly anything as part of the site plan itself. We have a severe lack of information.
Have you started to look at signaling that intersection based on traffic counts?
That's right.
No, signaling is not something that we've looked at to this point.
I think it will be a result of the first small study that we're doing, and if there's any a lot like a bigger traffic study that will determine a signalization, we'll move to this next step. But now we're just doing the count.
Is there a traffic consultant on the project? And that's
Yeah, so we are the traffic, well, yeah, we're working to do some traffic work on this project as well. So we were out there doing the traffic counts over the last week or so, and are doing the calcs now on this.
So Niche is doing that.
Correct.
Yeah, and you guys have traffic, certified traffic engineers on board, Chris?
We do, yep. I am not one of them, so I'm saying the best.
Yeah.
But we have Jeff Bandini, who is our traffic engineer, who's working on this with me.
And he works for Niche or contract from Niche to Jeff Bandini?
He works with Mitch.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Just want to add, they have submitted a ton of information on how to build a building, which planning board has no involvement in, doesn't care. We need site plan information, which you provide us hardly any. We don't care about how you're running electric, where you're putting the elevator and things like that. We care about the site
So
itself.
the plans that we have are architectural plans. We don't have recent site plan information on this. So we're gonna need some. Yeah, the architectural plans are good for the building department, but for us, we need a site plan.
We
Yeah.
submitted, I have the package that was sent to the town. And I'm not saying that anyone is wrong here. I'm just saying the stuff that we sent, maybe it got lost along the way from the carrier, but we submitted
No, we,
the architecture drawing, the landscape drawing, electrical site plan, and several drawings, and the photometric site plan and details as well. And
I have all the plans sitting right here. You're welcome to look at them. You gave us a photometric plan, you gave us 2 pages of site plan. Building elevation and everything else is how to build a building. Which is
so
not.
there must be something that wasn't delivered, but yeah.
They don't have a stormwater report, they don't have.
Oh, we
other-
do have a stormwater report that go through conservation, which is actually something, have you gone to the conservation commission with this project?
We are not yet. We're on the agenda for next Wednesday, a week from tonight.
Cause I have a question here and I don't know the answer to this because it's a very convoluted thing, but you're running, the drainage from the underground engine basin under the road to another property, which is also owned by the town, but typically that is not something that is allowed in Charlton. And also that the property on the other side of, Heritage Drive, also is impacted by wetlands and everything, so I'm questioning if that drainage can even be approved as part of this project, because I don't know if the school owns the other property, which I know is essentially the town, but this is where it gets convoluted. I don't know if the planning board has any authorization, something like that, that the town would, it's a separate parcel of land, and they're basically running it onto the neighbor's property.
It's town-owned land, right?
Right, it is town-owned land.
The property is owned by the Charlton and Dudley School District and Dudley School District. And we're in the process. We did the subdivision plans already, and the town in the process of all the legislation work and actually filing the deed. But it's still the new property will still be, which is 4 Oxford Road, will still be under the same ownership. So both property, including the fire station land, the Heritage Drive, and the other side of the road, all gonna be owned by the school district.
The fire department property is gonna be owned by the school district.
Yes.
And Mina, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have, it's shown on here in gray in the background. So there's also a drainage easement that, as a part of that, was created for this very purpose. Acknowledging that, yeah, this is not our parcel. But that, we're trying to replicate as best we can where the water goes today, and that's why we're doing what we're doing.
There's a river, that runs into the high tension wires to the western side of that. And I don't know if you plan a drainage to go into that river, which you probably can't do with the salting and the lower blah.
Yeah.
But there's a river there. And as someone pointed out, there's wetlands there.
Hmm.
But
On the left of this drawing is where the high tension
Yep.
lines up.
Yeah, you can see those are the wetlands marked out with, on the bottom left of the plan. And then we've got the buffer zone. So, yeah, we're going to Conservation Commission. I mean, we'd be required to for the stormwater management anyways, because of the extent of it. But also because we're doing some work in the buffer zone to that. And you can see the buffer zone is that thicker kind of arcing gray line, the 100-foot buffer. As for the river, that arc on the left, that half circle, that's the 200-foot riverfront area. So that's 200 feet off the river itself. So it's actually off the plan to the left is where the river is.
Got it, thank you.
And the stormwater management that we're providing, so that for the discharge, which will, yeah, it will eventually make its way into the wetlands. The stormwater management system that we're proposing as part of this will treat that water and slow it down to, send the water off in a better state than it does, or, it otherwise would, right? We're going to treat it, make sure we're getting out the nutrients and other pollutants that we need to. It's also going to slow the water down, so that it wouldn't potentially overwhelm or erode away that slope or the wetlands.
So I guess how it goes here, we have a Graves review of a plan we don't have. So it's kind of frustrating, pretty much a waste of time, not being able to refer to a set of plans. I thought that Graves has reviewed and made comments on, and we can't physically see them.
So why don't we do this? We've got the Graves report. There's a few things there that need to be taken care of. And provided to Graves or changes made to the plans. Can you work with the planning department here, get a hold of Randy and Jane and get us a set of give us the site plans, updated plans. The most recent you have and we'll get those. Do they provide electronics or do they provide printed copies normally electronic?
Well, typically they give us paper,
Yeah.
we will get one on flash drive at some point or PDF hour.
Okay. So electronic and then paper copies of those plans for our next meeting, which is on
October
16th.
Did you say, sorry, did you say you needed the stormwater report as well, or did you have that?
Well, the
You can check-
stormwater report goes through the Conservation Commission, so again, it has nothing that's within the purview of the planning board. You did give it
Chris,
to us.
I will check with Randy what was delivered and
Perfect.
provide the rest because I have here all the list of documents that and reports that actually was supposed to be delivered by the carrier. I have all these reports. I have the drawings. So this is the things that I sent to the carrier and they confirmed deliveries, but we'll just have to confirm next time that the actual delivery was accurate. So we'll make sure for the 16 we have everything.
There are a lot of construction drawings for the building, but not the site plan.
The construction drawing is part of the submittal. It's the architecture set, and we included that because when we were first planning to go on September 4, they were requested as part of the submittal, and since then I include them in the submittal. But if they're not needed, I can take them off for the next round.
That's.
The only architecture we need a building elevation.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's fine. Keep it in there anyways. It's better to have too much information than not enough.
Yeah, if we can upload this to the shared file, make a folder for it.
Yeah.
And start Yeah, put 'em in
with the
there.
architectural information.
Yeah,
It's
electronic.
many pages. I
So I
mean,
mean,
much more than.
We don't need them printed out, but
Yeah,
electronically, we may want to refer to them.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're delivering printed copies, the planning board does not need architectural drawings. But if you're delivering electronic version, also those can be, everything can be included with that.
So is anything specifically required to be a hard copy delivered as a hard copy?
Anything that we get, we need at least 2 hard copies, at least 2. We have to have one in the planning board office, and we have to file one with the clerk. But the
Okay.
planning board, as you can see, would like a paper copy in front of them as well,
For the site plan.
of the site plan, yes.
Okay, we'll have them deliver and confirm ahead of the meeting that the package is correct.
And then just
Okay.
a comment that you guys made earlier. So yeah, Graves has reviewed the plans and so we will actually be making a few revisions to even what you saw tonight ahead of the meeting for next week, because we got some comments this afternoon. So we will be
Sure.
making those comments and responding.
Okay, anybody have any questions on the grade report or anything they
Really need
further
the
questions on?
plans. It's hard to see what where the lighting is and all.
There was a report also submitted, I received it today from Kurt Meskis, the building commissioner. He literally handed it to me today, so
Is that,
And there's a lot.
this-
they are aware because Andrew Golis, our town administrator, forwarded it to them. But I did not even receive this till today,
that's this one?
yes.
Okay. Has this been, oh, this is with this is, oh, I guess there are some.
This whole,
Okay,
And do you, Chris, you've got the Graves feedback and you've got the feedback from the building commissioner, the email, it appears. So both,
I have the Graves October 2nd, but today,
yeah,
well, you got it blurred out, but yeah, I have that letter. I don't have building commissioner comments. I don't mean, maybe you got those.
Yeah,
64 of them.
Yeah, the first
5 actually, but most of them have been addressed. So, and a lot of them are just small things. So we'll update and get you a revised set.
Yeah. Chris, we had those comments, the original comment, like where if the planning board members looking at it, is they're in black ink or black text. Those were we received before the first round of comments from Graves, so those were addressed, but the rest is all new. We, as Randy mentioned, we received it today, so we're gonna distribute those and work through them.
got it.
But similar to the first batch of comments we received, a lot of these is recommendation or design input, replacing things by things like weighing cost versus design, and many of these were already discussed with the building committee or the working group, the people who has been following the progress of this building since the beginning, and they either voted not to do any changes, or very few were actually taking into consideration.
comments on that might be good in the same form.
Yeah.
At least for the board to review.
Yeah, just like the way we do for Graves, where each one individually has a comment, whether it be
Acknowledged.
fixed, acknowledged, or you
Not
changed it, or, yeah, just so we can reconcile this to what we have.
Yeah, we can have that ready for next time.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Yeah,
Okay,
we provided
so-
one to them last time, and we'll provide another one this time for sure. We want to make sure it's all easily readable.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions from anybody on the board before we continue this?
Do you think you'll have the traffic study documented by our next planning board meeting, October 6th?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Thank you.
If we can get anything earlier, it's much better for us to have a couple of days to look at this and not be reviewing it while you're, on the screen.
Kind of read.
Sure.
We, again, I'm sorry for this, that think you don't have the actual drawings in front of you. We delivered the document on Monday. It was not this Monday, the one before, so it was Monday, September 23rd, to the town, and to Graves was delivered on September 19. But we didn't get any confirmation whether there's a document missing or not. We just got a confirmation that the document was received, and we're under the impression that it's was delivered correctly. But
Okay.
next time I will drop them myself.
Okay, no problem.
Perfect, thank you.
We've got some people from the public here, if anybody'd like to comment. Any
Yeah,
questions?
my biggest concern is the traffic. I believe we need a set of lights there. Not only because, the traffic itself is my sanity too, because when the fire trucks leave, they said they'd only put the sirens if there's traffic. Well, we all know there's traffic there.
Mhm.
And I'm only like 75 feet away.
You close butter?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
6 Oxford Road, we're right there.
Okay.
And
There's been multitude of accidents
Accidents.
there over the
Yeah,
years.
it
that
is a
we've
tough
lived there.
intersection.
It's a curve
Yeah,
and it's a blind
they don't
spot.
slow the traffic.
And
yeah,
Yeah, we even know like getting out of our driveway
yeah,
sometimes is a challenge.
yeah.
You just have to watch.
It's even worse in my driveway, because I'm the next house down.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can't see.
Yeah,
I was a little surprised there was no traffic signal there. So
Yeah,
let's
the one
look at the
thing I
traffic
was-
study and figure out what it
Yeah.
calls for and.
One thing I was wondering if you could do is, how a crosswalk starts flashing when someone crosses the road, and I don't know if this is possible, but if a fire truck is pulling out, if there could be some kind of
Yeah.
flashing light, fire truck pulling out, rather than just a yellow sign saying fire station ahead,
Mhm.
something
Yeah.
flashing,
And like I've
Yeah.
seen them at the fire stations in Worcester, they actually turn the lights on when they're leaving.
Mhm.
So before they even open up the garage doors, they have the lights start, all the traffic stop, and they just go right out.
Yep.
And it's controlled by them.
right.
Well, So once again, that's something to look into, and we'll
Just like
talk more
the
about
warning
that.
lights, I mean,
Yeah,
it
we'll
makes
talk more
sense,
about that.
because it's a
Yeah,
little safe.
we'll see if the study numbers support this opinion.
Well, there's a
We might,
tremendous amount of traffic whenever people are getting dropped off
Yeah.
or picked up from school, if there's a dance or any function there.
Yeah.
It's. a
I have
tremendous
kids in
amount
the
of
school, it's
traffic.
impossible to get out of that driveway, sometimes you're sitting there for 5 or 7
Yeah,
minutes.
I can imagine what even tougher for the
Yeah.
fire department.
Get the fire.
Yeah,
if anybody wants to pull out of my driveway, swing by, feel free.
Well, I mean, this might be a time that we might want to make a request to the police department to give their opinion on it, because I mean, they had a very big opinion on Treehouse, for instance.
Yeah.
This is gonna be one of those locations between the driveway and the firehouse right next to the driveway, and the fact that the school buses that, get the opinion of the police department,
Right.
what they think would be the safest way to deal with this,
That's a good idea.
yeah, and we'll look at the traffic study and the period of time that they've measured, to make sure we pick up and drop off hours.
Make sure we give a copy to Dan, right, so.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a
Stopped right-
time
Like a
to
line of traffic in front
get
of our
their
houses.
opinion on,
Yeah.
potential problems they see, what kind of ideas they may
We
have
always,
to.
we always get that from, for the projects, they'll come in and say, oh, no, it doesn't, it's fine, but all of us that drive that road all the time, we know, and that, those like lights, warning lights, what, a couple 100 feet down or something to let the people who whip up that hill very fast.
Yeah, I know.
On both directions, so there's not, our actual fire trucks aren't getting into accidents too,
Right,
while they're
yeah.
going out.
That
Yeah,
30
I can see
mile an
that.
hour speed limit sign is just for decoration.
It is,
You know,
absolutely.
it is, so-
That is true.
Okay,
Yeah, you wouldn't want a fire truck to get hit on its
Right.
way to, respond to something.
good feedback.
Right, and that is actually, that's the study that we're doing, right? So we're looking, so the crest of the hill is actually a big part of that, because it does limit the sight distance and the speeds and, how quickly someone can react. So that's exactly what we're looking at, and, we'll see what it can support.
Okay, I just assumed it was left off at request of the neighbors or something, but I do think it's. I think it's needed, but we'll see.
Yeah, there was one other question I wanted for clarification. From what I heard, that was the fire trucks are coming in from the back of the fire station. So they're not coming in, they're not backing in from Oxford Road.
That's
So there's
correct.
plenty of
It's-
for them to come in,
Yeah.
turn left.
Right.
and
Yeah,
get to
it's-
the Fire
It's
station.
essentially a drive-through garage, you know. doing
Yeah.
As long as it's the case.
Right, right.
Yeah,
They can drive out from Heritage Drive from the rear side. They can back out and drive out of this way. If the Oxford Road is blocked and there's emergency and they can drive around it, but returning to the station is always gonna be from the rear driveway because there's no emergency or there's no rush getting into the station. They just wait in traffic like everyone else, get back to the station.
Okay. Okay, so I think we should probably continue it till the next meeting. It's the 16th, and do you wanna
We
set
have
schedule a
them-
time, or do you wanna just? Leave that open for now in case something needs to get moved around.
yeah, we'll just reschedule for, continue to the October 16th meeting and just leaves the time open then at the moment. You know,
Make a
we'll let
motion.
it be early in the meeting, but we don't want to set a time at the moment.
Make a motion to continue the Charlton Fire Substation Site Plan Review till October 16th.
Second the motion.
We have a motion, a second, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
I,
opposed? Pass. Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
We'll see you in
Have a good
a
night.
weeks and
Thank
discuss
you.
it then.
Chris, thanks, Mina.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
both. Okay, next on the agenda.
Thanks for coming in. I appreciate your
Thank you.
feedback. Thank you.
Oh,
You don't wanna stay around and listen to the rest?
that's how I reeled the last number in.
We have a continued public hearing for GM Properties LLC Villages multifamily units at 35 North Main Street.
Yes,
Um,
they have, submitted a letter, request, sending the, time for the public meetings and approval to February 16, 2025. They did receive a report from Graves, they paid any past due bills and everything, so they're good to go, and they did get a report from Mike Graves that given the fact, they got it like the day of the meeting or the day after the meeting, so as a result of that, they said, well, we just want to continue the 16th so that they can reply to Mike's report, you know, kind of be in a better position to present the application, so. And they given the planning board time to, you know, make the decision on the application, to vote on it. So February 16th, 2025.
So when are we up? We've opened this public hearing in July.
Yeah, so that,
February is gonna put us outside of the,
well, that's why
6
they
months.
have agreed to extend the time for approval till February of next year. So if they granted us more time, then we're covered.
oh, I thought they
Can we
wanted
do
to,
that under
it said they want to continue this to February.
No, they're
Okay,
agreed in regard to the application.
oh, okay,
The action date
And the
issue
action
decision, yeah.
okay.
So
Okay,
they'll continue, they plan to be at
Action.
the next meeting on October 16th,
right, they're coming back in on the 6th.
right?
All right, February, it's really
Okay.
off. there.
That,
Action.
Yeah, you just have to
The,
vote on it by February 16th.
Yeah,
okay.
We can do that. The state lets us do that.
What's
The
that?
state lets us
If
do
the
that.
applicant gives you permission,
Okay.
you can do that. But you, that's why you get it in writing to make sure that, you know,
Okay.
the planning board is covered.
Perfect.
So we should, we have to vote to approve it to extend the action date?
I think you should,
Yeah, like
you know,
the
from a legal
record.
standpoint, so that we're not.
Okay, so we need a motion?
Make a motion to extend the action date of the application of GM Properties LLC until February 16th, 2025.
Second the
We
motion.
have a motion and a second, a little bit of discussion just for Bob. So when a plan's submitted to the planning board, we've got 6 months to make a decision from the opening of the public hearing to when we have to make a decision to approve it or disapprove it or whatever. So since we opened this in July, our time runs out in December sometime to make a decision. And if we don't make a decision, I think it's allowed by, it's automatically assumed no decision is allowed. Is that right?
Yeah, it's sort of like they took it away.
We didn't make a decision in time. It just, they get
Dragged on feet, so it.
Yeah.
Or the-
So
Automatically
us, but-
approved.
Don't blame us.
So by extending this, this gives us a couple more months to consider the project and do it. We're not pushing up against that deadline. So we have a motion, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. Motion passes. So we'll need another motion to, do we want to continue this till next week or
Continue to the October 16th.
October 16th?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll need a motion to continue this to October 16th.
Make a motion to continue the next meeting for GM Properties LLC until October 16, 2024.
Second the motion.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion passes. Okay, it's being 7:10-ish. JAR LLC Jennings Road, extension subdivision bond reduction request, phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah, they have, they requested a, reduction on, there's 2 different phases, so the
Yep.
planning board would have to handle each one separately. I do wanna point out, which honestly, as far as the, John Sanborn, who's the, property owner on Jennings Drive, has said that, you know, that there is not a signing place at the intersection of the new part of Jennings Road, the phase 3 part in Brookfield Road. I forwarded this information to Mr. Jennings. So he was aware of it, and I also remind my candidate to take a look at it because it was part of their original approval. So. But Mr. Sanborn wanted to bring it to the board's attention, so I have it here. It doesn't really have any impact on his decommissioning, you know, or construction bond, so. But I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. So he's asked for a bond reduction for part of phase 2 that is now a more phase 2 that is now complete, I could say. He's not getting all of his funds back. He still has other work to do. And also the same thing with phase 3. Phase 3 has a lot more work to do.
Did the applicant agree to these amounts as?
Yes, he's always been trying to collect even though we haven't voted on it.
So I guess so.
He's,
Where's my check? bitch?
yeah, he's been doing this for years, so he's well aware of how it works, but he was, trying to.
Yeah.
Jump the gun.
Blame him, yeah.
So has the open space been transferred to Charlton Heritage and everything? That
Yeah,
should have been done a long time ago.
It has been done. I can't verify that all the signage is in place, but the land has been transferred. At least to Westwell, Charlton Heritage Tract. I did confirm that.
I just want to look at the permit decision just to make sure we're not missing anything. So it does say that prior to the issuance of the first building permit for phase 3 section of the subdivision, the applicant shall install a street sign at the new intersection phase of phase 3 of Jennings Road and Brookfield Road.
Yeah, this is the problem, it's that.
You weren't here back then? 2010, you were.
I was,
It's application, 14
I
years
just wasn't
old.
at, I wasn't at
They
this
tend to
meeting.
fall through the
clearly.
cracks over this kind of period of
It's
time.
my
Yep.
maiden name on that.
Yeah.
So but I did contact Mr. Jennings today and say,
Okay.
you've got to do this, because Mr. Sanborn is correct, so.
Mhm. Okay,
Has he gotten a reduction in bond previously?
Yes, he had.
he has through phase 1,
14 years
yeah,
through phase 1, all right.
through phase 1 and portions of phase 2, I believe he was here. what, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
I think before. The reduction.
Yeah, it was earlier this year, cause he, a release of covenants, I think it was, but he had a. Cistern they had to install, for
Mhm.
firefighting purposes and everything in phase 2,
Mhm.
which has now been done.
And that cistern had to be in before he could begin construction on, Phase
House
3.
is on phase 3, right?
you remember that?
Skip.
Okay, so we've got 2, and you wanna do them separately? Let's look at phase 2 first. Estimated reduction of $35,262. According to the most recent Graves estimate. That sound about right? So total remaining in escrow, 81,726. Site work, drainage, miscellaneous roadway, top course, binder.
You want a motion to release this? Is it any,
Yeah, I mean, we can get a motion in a second, then we can talk about it.
I make a motion that we approve the, reduction of 35,262.
For phase 2,
From phase 2.
the motion, the motion is second. Any discussion? Any questions or concerns?
Is that the, maybe I don't know how to read this, but is labor included in here?
That all has labor rates included. in it.
Yep.
All right, so that would, 20 cubic yards alone. That includes spreading it for $1,000?
Yeah.
Okay. We assume,
That includes the materials or the loan.
and the labor's in there.
It'd be everything,
Seating.
it'd be if we had to complete the project ourselves, so, or hire a contractor to do it, that's what it's supposed to be, so.
Only 20 cubic yards. is what it is.
Yep.
Not a lot of large quantities, the top course, that's fine, it's a good price for. 250 ton, that's not a lot. It's a bigger ton.
Yeah. That's the material plus the labor.
Material and labor, yeah.
Okay, we have motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Motion unanimous. Okay, for phase 3. Previous total was 600,378. The new total is 470,496, so total reduction of 129,882.
Why is why is the loom price different
Yeah,
for phase? I mean, not that,
It said 6 inches.
What is, what different?
Room six inches, $50 per unit, and then this one is 75. Per
They
unit.
used a different pricing on the front page. They used pricing for 2019 and 2020 in phase two. And the pricing changes, it's indexed up. For phase three, it's pricing in 22 and 2023.
Yeah, but it's all revised for September of
It
twenty
should, yeah,
twenty-four.
it should have been all revised.
Be like, as of today, what it would cost.
That's not what they did. They literally, that front page says the pricing is from this date, and phase three, the pricing is from that date. Because that's when the work was done. So
Yeah,
he's
With
reducing
the-
it by.
yeah.
So trees,
based on that
When the
bond,
Actually.
Yeah, they-
executed, yeah. When
the
the
bond
work
amount
was
was
done.
based
we
on
have
the
to go back and
number.
revote them. That's wrong. Because, I mean, even the tree price is different.
You know, I mean, based on the amount that had to be put up for phase two at the time that they started constructing phase two.
But the remaining work, I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, it should be revised. If it's more expensive now than it was then, shouldn't that estimate be revised?
It's gonna cost the same for both, the same to finish as the price right now,
Okay.
as of today, right?
Well, he's asking for a reduction amount.
But we really can't reduce it because the prices have gone up from what's in there now. So just because,
But this is supposed to be revised for 2024, so this
That's what
should be
it says.
current, but this one says the same, revised. And the prices are different, so no one did their little fact check.
They also added 20% contingency in there, you know, because of. You know,
They did that on both of them?
issues, you know, inflation, you know,
But they
things
did
like
that on,
that.
but they
so-
did that on both of them,
they
Right,
did, and
no,
even the
So-
higher dollar
so
one, so.
the numbers need to be revised in phase two to match what's in phase
Yeah,
three.
can I rescind my vote?
Well, we haven't voted on it.
The first
Yeah.
one, on phase two we did,
Oh, phase two we did.
and that's the lower numbers, and we
yeah.
want the higher numbers, so.
Your motion to reconsider, I believe.
Yeah, I make a motion to reconsider.
Okay, motion to reconsider is on the table. Anybody have a second? It would be good to get information from Graves on this. You know, are we,
I mean, this is just clearly a mistake,
I'm not sure that,
because you
I-
have to finish as of right now, how much money should we give back if they stop doing the project at this very moment? How much money should we give back? And that's what this is, correct? So if one project. The price, I mean, why would they pay less for a tree on one project than for the other project, right? Because it all is, as of this very second, or as of September 2024, how much is it gonna cost to finish this project? This is what this estimate is, so it makes sense that all the prices would be the same. And if there's a reason, then I wanna know why they'd be that reason, because it doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm guessing, yeah, and I would have to verify this with Graves Engineering, but he's going by the numbers when they originally
yeah, I,
had the bond, requested a bond, Graves came up with amount back in 2020, and that's what the price per yard alone was. And
and I,
so
yeah.
he can't reduce it more than.
right, because if
What
you,
it costs.
if you did it, imagine you calculate it in today's dollars, the price might be $250,000, so we owe him money. That's why you cannot use today's dollars. So the previous total construction is $116,000. And say Graves adds it all up today, it would be $227,000.
But
It
Then
would
he
be
would-
more than the actual estimate back
But
then.
if,
so and that's fine, then
Take a step
then
back
he would
from-
get a reduction so he wants a reduction for things that he hasn't done yet. But it costs more than what
yeah.
we still
so-
have in
so
in
the
the coffers.
point is, what this is supposed to say is, as of right now, what's left to finish. So whatever he gave us, we have we have $81,000 of his money, right? I'm sorry, we have $116,000 of his money,
Right.
right?
In,
And-
yeah.
And so the project is this percentage completion done, and how much is it gonna cost to finish the project? Oh, it's gonna cost $100,000 to finish the project to end, so we give them $16,000 back. Does that make sense? So they're, the way that they're doing this doesn't make sense. How much is it? Send it back, I send it back to Graves and say, I would like to know how much it's gonna cost them to finish the project, just the theory of how they do it. It just doesn't make any,
Yeah, I mean, we have to do that. I just think that we're gonna have
Matt
gonna be
Jennings.
an issue here because the original bond was based on the numbers that was requested.
Right, but think about,
And that's fine, but
Think about
what he's looking for
protecting the
is a reduction in that bond.
based
And
on
if
what's.
the cost to do what they're saying to do has gone up, then that bond should reflect that.
I mean, this
Well, I
is,
The
think
reduction in that should
That
not.
means
include
that
the-
bond, that means we don't have enough of
Maybe
this
not.
money.
and that's, so, right, and that's because our job
If
is
he
to
didn't do
protect the
anything,
town,
walked
yep.
away from the project
Yep.
right now,
Could we finish
we
it?
wouldn't have enough money to finish
And
it.
that's the point of this, right? To make sure that we're
Yeah.
protecting our town, that we have enough in the bank, enough of their money to finish their project. And I know it, you know, it is, kind of is what it is, and
We really don't have a problem with this. Those numbers are real today, only because I do this.
For which estimate?
The first one, phase two, phase.
Okay, so then maybe it's, you're saying phase three is incorrect?
Phase three. The way I look at it, they're doing this, and phase three is an eye to the future,
Okay,
for the money that could cost in the future.
And so I'm just, so if they stop the project right this very moment, do we have if we only keep $81,000,
I
And
mean, the
can
point
we
is
finish?
moot to me only because that's what the bond was. We have no recourse,
but that's just, if we take a step back, right? So we're protecting the town to make sure that if our developers walk away, the town can not lose money by finishing.
Okay, I'm building I'll play Mr. Jennings, I'm building this, right? I've done everything correct, I have these metrics that I've completed, I want my money back.
All right, so, we have to protect the town, and it's gonna cost this much money for us to complete the project because of inflation, not our fault about how inflation works. So I don't like the way Graves recalculates these. We need to kind of modify this maybe to make.
So-
He recalculates it by, if you read, he recalculates it by current. It's like this estimate was prepared to assist the planning board in establishing the amounts of surety for this project according with subdivision rules and regulation. The surety value established by the board may vary from this estimate. So he's placing it on us. This is just a guide for us to go by. It's not written in stone. He's just providing a guide for us
So,
to
I'm a-
correct on.
So I guess I'm just
It's
asking,
truly an estimate.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the phase two, for instance, got 3 bullet points and you talk about how we got those numbers. Cause they were based on Mass DOT prices in 2019, 2020.
but is that the best way to do it?
is it,
I
so I'm
guess
saying
my
in the
question is
future,
that-
I mean, even if we do kind of let this go,
We'll estimate jobs all the time. They get a proposed value for an estimate. They go by Mass Highway estimated price they go to the mean, weighted bid prices and they pull those prices off.
but as
What's the
I
prices?
mean, and this changes as we go because, you know, products. All I'm asking is is it gonna-
You're
is it-
asking Graves to give you something that they can't give you.
Well,
And it's up for us to determine. This is just a guide for us to.
well, is $68,000
Yeah.
enough?
honestly, I don't think what's left here
This is a small one.
is a small one, and knowing Jennings, I don't think he's gonna.
No, I don't either.
He's gonna leave it undone. But Mike, but it's still, it's a bigger question. is a basin outlet structure with trash rack cost $4,000 or does it cost $6,000?
It costs.
Because if it costs $6,000, like the phase 3 says, if he leaves that out in phase 2, then
Well, what size?
we're on
is
the hook for
basin?
2,000.
What size is
Well,
the structure?
um,
Maybe Michael has that. He has reviewed the plans. I haven't seen the
Yeah.
plans. Maybe it's a basin's coming all types and shapes and cost. So. I mean, we're relying on him to accurately surmise these. It's truly an estimate, so. I mean, I don't know, other than going out and actually costing every piece of.
Well,
Well, that's what he should be doing
I'm
with
assuming-
his estimate.
I'm
A top
assuming-
course for pavement is right on. Binder is right on. Cape Conberg is right on. Street lights with posts. I mean, maintain, that's expensive. I just only, I know this, so I'm not saying you're wrong, Patsy.
No, I'm just saying, my question is it going to cost, or if I was gonna buy this?
Yeah.
Would it cost $68,000 to do all this?
Yeah.
And then with the contingency, where they're saying that with the 20% like safety net, right?
Yeah.
They're saying this is gonna cost 81,000, we have 116,000, if it's only gonna cost 81. Then we give the $35,000 back, right?
Correct.
So that's fine, as long as the little issue is that the numbers on one should match the other. Maybe they use fancier trees on one of them, and,
Could be a bigger tree.
right, so we'll let that vote go and give them 35. But on the other one,
But you gotta be figuring when they finish this, when they finish all these houses, 20 houses. There's a good chance that this is gonna be $153,000, $153 per top coat per ton. It's a good chance that binder will be up to 150 per ton.
Okay.
There's a good chance that all this stuff will be.
Okay, so you think this is
Escalated.
forward looking?
Yes, this is definitely for.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the one's a snapshot of it right now because there's not a lot of items left to do.
I guess the other point of view that I have is like phase 2, the construction estimate reduction. So the previous total of construction was $116,000. When was that calculated?
The last time
14
he got a reduction in
10 years?
so I mean.
No, I
maybe.
mean, the whole thing was done in 2019-20,
Yeah.
so that's 4
So-
years.
The construction previous total, 116,000, was from, say, 2019 and 2020.
5 years ago.
And so we're matching up with that value, because today it might be to finish the project is gonna be more money. So the actual, to finish the project might be $150,000 today. So then he has to put more money in. But that's really not fair because he's completed some of the project. So shouldn't he get money back? No, we're gonna ask him for more money because today it's gonna cost us $150,000.
So-
we should reduce their bonds, right?
How do you
We keep looking
calculate
at-
any reduction?
So had he finished it in 2020.
Yeah.
He probably could have done with these numbers, but since it's taking
Yeah.
a longer time than, so
Yeah.
let's say 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Things are gonna be doubled again.
Right.
Now, do we look at it and go, okay, you put the drainage in,
Yeah.
here's $6,000 when it's gonna
Yeah.
cost us, or you've done everything but this.
Right,
So we're gonna refund everything except for $4,000,
yeah,
when it's gonna cost us $20,000 to
But,
do
I mean,
this.
that's
So
kind of
it's-
an unrealistic expectation.
right.
He's gonna build, say, 20 houses in phase 2. He's not gonna build them in a few months. It's gonna take years.
Yeah,
So that's why he can't complete all the.
Yeah.
Items.
So had he not come back for a bond reduction,
right,
we wouldn't be discussing this.
right.
Okay.
Yeah,
But since he's asking for money, we need to look at it and go, okay, you're asking for money back, but now since it's gone on for so long. this has gotten a lot more expensive to do this.
And I get all the
We really
fear.
can't give you money back for that because it's gonna cost us.
And I get all the fairness, but
Yeah.
all I can, all I, all our developers are just amazing and we love them all. But all I care about is protecting the town, right? Will the town be able to finish that project with the money there? And that's all, that's what we should be asking, Graves.
Yep. And I think we need to put that question out there to Graves. I think $81,000 for phase two is not gonna break the bank and since he still has phase three to go.
Believe that.
He still has a lot hanging out there to.
But can we hold
So,
off on this and ask Graves the question first, or do we have to give the money back? Do you understand?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead and do it now. This is just a small reduction and we're still holding, $500,000 for phase three.
Yeah,
Right.
you know, yeah, in all fairness, to. You know. Have it do this without, as a surprise to him in
Yeah,
the
and he might-
11th hour. Isn't really fair to the applicant.
And they're in town.
Relying on
and-
Graves to give him the
But-
They're in
number.
town. But.
But it's a
we-
question that we need
Yeah,
to
just-
talk to
just-
Graves and,
It could be for something from here on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something we need to look at.
Are the bylaws silent on how we calculate a reduction?
Yeah, when we rely on Graves, he uses state prevailing wage.
And what he should be looking at these now and saying, because I mean, we did that in other departments.
Let's
He's
not
looked
look
at
at
it
the
and said,
bonds.
okay, you're gonna do this, but now, it's gonna cost more to do this, so we're gonna reduce it by that.
But let's not look at
X.
the original bond at all until we get how much we're gonna complete it, right? So I think that's the way to go, say, all right, you have to do these 10 things, this is what it's gonna cost,
Yeah.
what do you have in the bank? And that, I think that makes sense, and that's a the liability side. Is it different than everybody else? I don't care, all I wanna do is make sure the town is protected,
Yeah.
right? And
So then we should ask for more bond in a high inflation environment. So if
No,
it's pending.
but make sure the stipulation is there that this bond will get recalculated
Yeah.
in 2
Yeah.
years or recalculated. When you come back for a bond reduction,
It gets
It-
recalculated.
it's going to get
at the same time.
recalculated at today's numbers.
So that reduction you might be getting, you might say he's getting, instead of
It's a negative.
81, he might be paying us 22 more.
It's possible.
and I know that.
And at that point, you just say you don't get a reduction right now.
Yeah, we,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
think,
think we
we
take
can
more
ask
from them.
more, but we don't give the
But
reduction.
we don't get back until,
And
until
again-
the amount of work that's left falls below that number.
And
We
it-
have to get that legal, because that's, right there. We just can't.
Yeah,
we
I
can't
think-
say that.
Yeah.
We can't just say
I
that.
don't know what standard practice is. Do other towns say, if, again, remember how much prices have gone up?
Yeah,
They've gone up
yeah.
immensely. And just because 10 years it's gonna cost 500,000 and maybe now it costs
Yeah.
$1 million, is the town gonna risk that?
Yeah.
And is there like a law that says, sorry, Charlton, you're screwed? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like, inflation is inflation, you take the hit if they walk away. Cause look, we have had projects where people walk away. Again, they're in town, we've dealt with them 1,000 times, but in the future, we just need to make sure we protect the town and.
One of the unusual things here too, which is where we might
10
run
years,
into
14 years.
issues. This is cash, this isn't a surety bond. So that the contract is gonna get cash back.
Yeah,
It's not like reducing a surety bond, so,
not insurance.
and he's expecting to get that
Yeah.
cash back because
Yeah.
Mike Andres has said that, this is what I.
That's fine.
expected.
I'm okay with letting it.
Yep,
If
I'm
the board
good.
feels that way. So, okay.
I make a motion, we reduce the Jennings Road Extension Phase 3 bond amount by 129,000, resulting in $470,496.
Second,
The motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye, unanimously. Good discussion, though.
yeah.
Good, healthy discussion.
To
No, I
follow this,
understand what you're saying,
Yep.
it's just that what we are can and can't do, that's
Right.
the legal.
Yep, legal.
and
reason.
in our bylaws, do we have a review of the bond amount on some
Not for
frequency?
typical subdivision or, construction like this, the only time we have that is, I think it's solar.
Commissioner bond.
what would the difference be with that though? It's the same situation, liability to the town, right?
Yeah, we should update the bylaws to
Like-
say that we have the right to review bond amount.
It's
recalculate
about,
every-
and it's protecting those residents that
years.
are living around that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know-
it really depends on the period of time, because if it's 10 years old, obviously the numbers are probably gonna be drastically different, you know, right? If it's a couple years old, is it, you know?
I think it might be just the methodology of the way that Graves does it. I think Graves
Yeah.
needs to look at today's numbers
Yeah.
when he looks at a bond reduction and says, okay, now this used to be
Right.
this.
You look at the original bond calculation, it has all the numbers, right? This is how much the whole project's gonna cost. We have all the details. Why wouldn't you just say, you know, 2019 versus 2024? Why wouldn't it just really just be
No
a
rates.
column?
Yeah,
Show us the change, right?
right.
And again,
Is there something in our bylaws that says we give a bond reduction at all?
I think there is in our subdivision
In
plan that,
subdivision
as the,
They have the
as
right
the,
to ask for
things
a reduction.
process on as things get done.
And it-
Well, then we should have the right to ask for a revision.
yeah, I agree. And again, I have a lot of friends that are developers. I just, again, we are here to protect the town and protect the
Yeah.
residents, and that's just, we just need to be fair. We're not taking advantage of anybody, we're just being fair.
That might be a bylaw review.
I have a question on it. Say, you say, to go for, a revision or something like that. Should there be a revision, say if this project is supposed to last 4 years and it's going on now to the 5th? Should it come back to the board then saying the times has gone either up or down I honestly don't see it going down. We all remember when you could buy a soda for 10 cents.
Well, you actually,
I mean, we
you
had-
actually have a point. Maybe if they ask for an extension.
Yeah.
It automatically triggers a bond review.
I mean,
great
it should,
idea.
that just
I
makes,
mean, I'm just-
that just makes sense to me, that the bond is out there to cover the town for work that they would have to do.
Yeah.
And if your project takes 20 years, it's gonna pay a lot more to do it now than we got money from it 20 years ago.
Well, then the impact of that, if you think about that, it's 10 years and we calculate and then we say, oh, Russ, sorry about this, but you owe us $50,000 more.
You should have got the project in quicker.
Right? I mean, you're like,
It's a tough sell, but
Yeah,
I see where you're at,
You know?
and that's true.
yeah.
You just hope that they're gonna make enough progress where
And get it
at some
done.
point they're gonna get down below
Right.
what.
Things
we have
happen
them.
in, beyond your
All the time.
Yeah,
control.
I don't think you can do that,
That would be tough.
If it
but you
does,
may not get the reduction you want.
Right.
but a reduction could also mean a reevaluation of the plan.
Well,
Same
I
time.
mean, that's where I think one of the things that they should be hand in hand, because, you know, some of these. Well, Jennings Road's actually wonderful, but
Yeah.
it's done in phases, this is the latest phase. We have subdivisions that still aren't complete, and they're 20 years old, 25 years old. And those are the times when you know, they should have been re-reviewed for the bonds.
You're not
a few
trying to take
times,
anything away
you know,
from
over that
anybody.
period.
No,
No, but
We don't wanna hurt any developers either, but it's just that, again,
If he goes bankrupt and drops it and gets out of there, we're on the hook to finish that subdivision.
our residents are gonna have to we're gonna have to use the tax money and figure out how we're gonna borrow for it, whatever, or let the resident just, there are situations where residents just live in crappy situations because people have walked away. There
Right.
are,
Yep, they plow their own roads.
yep.
Okay, that's taken care of. Can we just get an idea from Graves, just send him a message and ask him, is this common? We noticed there was difference in the pricing. Shouldn't that get
Yeah.
updated?
That's for his
During it.
explanation.
That's, yeah.
Maybe we're
Because
missing something.
Yeah, and this is
it
best
may be an
practice
overlook from him.
in the revision,
You know, we
like
had
the-
one guy do one guy do the other, and they were using different things, but I would think that a bond reduction after a certain amount of time should include today's numbers. not-
Yeah, and is this
Numbers from-
standard practice? Like, is this best practice with what all the engineers use, that they go with the original percentage was? I just,
Okay. All right, moving on. 7:15 minutes, we don't have any minutes, other business unknown at time of posting, we had a discussion.
Did you voted on both?
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Yeah,
okay.
they both,
Okay, I just wanted.
we passed them both.
Absolutely.
Yep, just also talking about getting that sign in,
Yeah,
if you want this check, just make sure the sign's in.
Just
We should have put that as a stipulation.
Bring a
on-
picture,
on-
bring a
on language. It's
picture
just-
of the,
Picture.
It is supposed to be there, the road's out to Brookfield Road.
well,
Something's got.
but we still have kind of an over barrel because you still need building permits
Mhm.
and Kurt's aware and Kurt.
Okay.
Good.
Should have followed up to make sure the sun gets installed before he issued a permanent, but
Okay.
it fell through the cracks, so I
Okay,
can't.
but he's
see
aware of
through
it now,
Kurt's
so-
fault. Yeah, he is aware of it
Okay.
now, and Kurt's aware of it too, so.
Okay. Any other updates, things that are coming or going, or,
Yeah, we have a couple Peerless trailers, on Route 20, which is next to Zorber's, kind of behind Zorber's.
Yep.
They come in with a site plan and actually one of they have a ton of trailer parking over there, you know, trailers that, you know, then UPS will lease them from FedEx, whatever.
Yeah.
And, so they wanna redo the whole site, make it more formal, but clean it up more, cause there's trailers right now, there's a ton, they're just scattered
Yeah.
all over the
Yeah.
place. So now they
somebody
wanna
complained.
formalize everything.
it's hard to see from Route 20, you can't
Yeah.
see much of it.
Kind of like up the hill and,
But if you look at the satellite picture, it's just a pretty big lot.
yeah, it
Pretty
is.
big, pretty big lot.
And then they have a cell tower right in the middle of it, but they're not moving the cell tower, so.
Of course not, that's income.
I told him we'd love to have him open up a restaurant at Zorber's too, but he didn't go for it.
Is he keeping the building there, or is he knocking the building?
Well, he's-
down?
No, they're gonna put up 2 new buildings, they're gonna have a office building, like, you know. the
They don't
leased
own
office.
Zorba's. They didn't buy Zorba's,
No, no,
they
no,
just got, they've got. the
I was
property
telling him
behind
we'd love
Zorba's.
to let him buy.
Yeah,
Zorba's.
it's a
Yeah,
different.
could somebody buys orders and do something, like a Panera, no.
But, and,
There you go.
so,
Anything,
well, I have a few people that are interested in multifamily projects, but I haven't had any to formally submit except for the 35 North Main Street.
multifamily meaning small, 6-family, 6.
Everybody's looking for something larger than 6 units.
Yeah, and that's everybody's questioning, and so I think that's gonna come before the board about whether not. Cause I said, I know the board's very adamant about not allowing. Going up as far as the building height now, they kind of, they wanna keep the height level the same. But the amount of units in a building, the board might be amenable to it, but it'll have to
Trying
be
to keep things
changing the
rural and not
bylaws.
urban
You want a
here,
skyscraper?
so,
Yes.
the other, I mean, the other thing that could happen and with the way they're pushing affordable housing now. A 40B development coming in here and could basically do whatever they wanted to do in the town, it has no,
Right.
you know, it's an LNG plant again. The
Right.
town just sits back and goes, okay, I mean, the zoning board of appeals would have to approve it.
And they'd have to find water.
But basically,
From
they,
somewhere.
they take control of it, the ZBA overrules the planning board at that point.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
and then-
problem is the water and the sewer, they like. Having anything big, you need to be connected to public,
Well, and
and the
that's,
cost of the,
that's one of
and
the
if they were gonna.
limitations that Charlton has where, we do have some control on it, because, you know, it has to be on public water and sewer. It's only in certain locations, so they just can't say, I'm gonna build all these things. And even with water and sewer, the water and sewer, we only have a certain capacity of sewer from, water from Southbridge that we can work with our current sewer plant capacity is only a
Yeah.
certain amount.
They could
so-
always do their
On-site
own
sewer,
sewage treatment
they'd have-
plan for.
It just at the
But,
cost
I
of
mean,
that
that's
kind of
ex-
project, that's the problem, I mean, I don't know what that would cost, but it seems like it'd be pretty expensive to.
You'd have to find-
Yeah, I mean, that's something that could be done.
Yeah.
You're not building low income homes with right under infrastructure, because
So there is, I mean, there's a push going that way, so it's something the board should probably think about and maybe get ahead of at some
Get ahead
point
of
and figure out what we could do to.
And I don't know if you've heard, the state of Massachusetts, they passed a new law about allowing a accessory house
Yeah.
Right.
on a property.
That goes into
separate
effect in
building on
February,
the town.
so that does go into effect in February. Is there any way that we can get some more information on that or more guidance from CM?
We are waiting, cause even the lawyers are trying to figure it out, and there's already, of course, towns fighting
I mean,
against
that-
it, 'cause they don't want
That
it,
came up in
so.
that came up in the ZBA meeting last night, you know, what lot can you do if you've got a pre-existing non-conforming lot? Can you do it in that one?
Right.
You know, so there's a lot of pre-existing.
And is there any
non-conforming
discretion if,
that we
about
have.
safety, right, and I mean, cause can you separate, can you have a different structure on your property? It's, as long as it's 50% or under 900, right? But you have to tap into your original sewer, right, in your well,
Right.
so it has,
Capacity.
so, I mean,
So,
how
I
many
mean-
houses have that much extra capacity?
Yeah.
That's where the.
So houses that are on town water and town sewer have a lot that are.
And that's
Yeah.
that's
If
not,
you have,
You had to have a separate sewer and a separate water
you just
for
have
that
to,
new,
You have to have capacity for it.
okay.
you could run the second building to the same septic system, but
Only
it
if
has
you
to
had
have enough capacity for the bedrooms of both the house and the.
could you put another septic system in for your, for the new other 900?
Good if you have the room.
Yeah. if it-
I don't know the answer, if the
Yeah.
Board of Health will allow you to put a second system on the property, or if you'll have to make
Yeah,
one
sure, there's space,
large
yeah.
system.
This far from the well.
But yeah, cause then you have 100-foot limitation from the well, and, you know, it starts to get crowded.
So we're not gonna
and stuff
have,
and all that on the property.
100 people doing this, jumping in, because it's,
And I don't know how, I'm a property owner paying somebody to do it, but I don't see builders really getting into that, so.
When they left their phone here.
Oops. Jim, is that your neighbor?
yes.
They left their cell phone here.
Oh, okay.
Also in the zoning board meeting last night, Edward Services had their setback issues that they had. We're taking care of it, zoning board improved, so they're good to go now. They've got all their garage, the gas station. So the tank location, fill up locations were too close to the front setbacks. I think they were at 40, they were supposed to be 50, and
And just
zoning board didn't have
another,
a problem with it, so.
another tidbit of information, don't know what's gonna happen with this. Yesterday, the Amazon facility, they decided for the first time to bring it up to full power. They blew up the metering station, which is owned by National Grid, which said it may take up to 52 weeks to replace. They're running on generators right now. They're not running their equipment because they don't have enough
52
power.
I did hear that electricity was back up tonight, so.
Yeah.
They got them
But
rehooked up.
whether they have enough power to run the whole building is question, so.
Is that the one over on Snake Hill Road?
Yeah.
They built that up.
No, what it is, it comes down from Snake Hill Road, crosses 169. Then they decided to put the structure underground rather than have so many telephone poles. And so it's National Grid equipment. So
The new substation, National Grid built?
it comes from the substation, but the metering station where it, goes to the Amazon property.
Physical meters.
Whatever it is, it wasn't good.
Ghostbusters.
So. Not exactly the best time to happen just when they're about to open, so. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, that's why you test those things out.
I'm surprised they didn't test us out
Well,
previous.
You had to
that's
set everything up and
exactly
run
the
it.
conversation we were having. You should have done this a real long time ago. To make sure we were gonna be able to handle it, and they never bothered.
The engineer should have known it wouldn't.
Wish they just turned.
It's just like a big handle. like-
Hey, everybody.
Fire
turn
up,
the
you
air
know?
What's his name?
What's the toilet
Just
going?
like cage. Just like-
No,
Turn
yeah,
all the
it's
lights
just-
on.
it's just like a big red button or something, like.
Oh, the poor guy. Oh.
Okay,
There were tears when that happened, right? Tears that actually
Yeah.
happened.
Not good.
anything else? Anybody?
So what's going on at 253 there? Is that still underway?
Oh, the other warehouse,
243, is that?
241, yes. So, oh, actually, well, I don't know anything more right now than we have known. But actually, if anybody wants to do, if they're going down Route 20 towards, Sturbridge, take a look at 218, 220, the, Boston,
The
They
landscaper? Yep, I see they got two big steel buildings up now.
no, they're doing some major alterations, the driveway that, I had a site, Mike Andre sent somebody over there and said, no, they're fine, I'm like, you better send them back, they got a cut in that driveway that's gonna be 25 feet. That was not on their prior plan, and I don't know if anybody remembered, because they basically came in and asked for forgiveness and permission. And the planning board was very adamant about if you change anything on those properties, you have to come back to the
Yeah,
board.
so that one that goes left and goes up the hill.
Right.
Yeah. And
I
they're
mean,
gonna,
they've cut and lowered the grade on it, like, big time,
on
they
the
used
whole
to-
property, yeah,
huh?
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the driveway that splits off, one goes to go, one goes to the other side. So I mean, it's not like it would be a problem, but the planning board was very specific about that they should be back here. So Mike Andre said, you know, his guy said it's fine, I said, go back and check
Mike,
it
you better get
again,
out there.
you know, it's. Everybody else is commenting on it, that's how much of a change it is, so. I just wanna make sure that, you know, doesn't fall through the cracks and it comes back, so.
So it'll be good.
Anything else on the battery decommissioning bond paperwork? Have you seen anything back from?
Mike Andre has, they gave it a revised bond estimate.
Yeah.
Mike Andre has that one, an updated estimate based on today's dollars,
Yeah.
not when 2018.
Yeah.
So they gave that to Mike Andre, he's now, reviewing it, and they plan to be at our October 16th meeting.
Okay.
Can we-
Isn't it a battery specialist, isn't it a specialist that does that? I mean,
Mm.
because you can't know how to do.
Mm.
That's very technical, like
Yeah.
that's a specialist kind of thing. I mean,
Mike hasn't been here for a while.
yeah, we wanna know what, because maybe he has a staff person that's their specialty for all we know. But-
De-energizing.
Because
It
that's a very, there's a
I mean, Mike
science,
used to come to all our meetings. At one point, Mike used to
to.
come to all our
he used to
meetings.
show up.
It would be good, I mean, it'd be good to have, we haven't talked to him in a long time. I mean, we saw him up at Amazon, but wasn't really a conversation we had. Yeah, ask him if he could come just to explain the bond, the decommissioning bond, and,
Maybe he can elaborate on the,
we'll get both questions taken care of.
the
at the same time.
bond reduction,
For the next
estimate
meeting,
reduction.
Yeah, I mean, we pay him to come, right? We pay him hourly to come,
That's okay.
but it'd be good to have a
Have you seen
conversation.
any of these documents, or did it go right to Andrade or? the
No, it's usually done between the applicant and Mike Andre,
Yeah.
and, I don't get it until,
when
you
it's
know,
done with?
after the fact, basically.
If
Actually-
you get it, can we see it, or can you upload it to the
Before?
SharePoint
Yeah.
before the meeting? 'Cause, yeah,
I almost wanna go to work. We have so many specialists with everything in the whole entire world, and I wanna be like,
yeah.
thanks to you. It's coming to ash. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot. It's not just construction and throwing low.
And it's new technology stuff that, like,
De-energizing, transport, permitting, all of that stuff.
Okay, so nobody has an objection to having Mike join us?
No,
No, it's
great. It'd be great to see you.
yeah, back in the day, he used to come to all the meetings.
back when he was just a worker. He was just a worker, now he owns the place.
Yeah, now he's got,
Um,
now he's got his people.
Send his people.
Okay,
Don't send that.
all right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
motion to second, all those in favor?
Right.
aye.
Aye, unanimous, aye, we're done, thank you.
Isn't it exciting?
I'm gonna leave
It
these.
was Interesting, I mean,